Greetings everybody, welcome back to the landscape. So as you can clearly see, today I'm in a woodland, and the weather today is very still, it's very calm. I've got flat grey overhead. It's forecast to do this all day. Perfect conditions for getting into woodland and looking for subjects that benefit from a lack of contrast. So on a day like today, all the shadows under the trees are very soft and very muted. It's not like those bright sunshiny days when you're in woodland where you get bright areas and then you get other areas where the shade and the shadows are really, really deep. And sometimes at worst you end up with these sort of specular highlights because of the way that the sun's glinting off everything. So today is perfect for woodland. So I've come to a woodland that I've not been to before. Doesn't matter where the woodland is, I've not been here before. And I've very much come here with an open mind and just going for a wander, going for a womble and see what's what. And it kind of reminds me of a workshop I was running where one of the ladies, and it was woodland not too dissimilar to this, and one of the ladies, after about 3/4 of an hour, came up to me, came and find me and said, look, I'm really sorry, Hugh, this isn't working. This location isn't working for me. I can't find anything to photograph. And long story short, she'd come into that wood with almost like a preconceived idea. She'd have, fantastic oaks or beech trees in full autumn colour, or birch trees, with all those little medallions of yellow with the white tree trunks contrasting. That's what she had in her head. And when she couldn't find that, that's the point at which her brain said, no, this isn't happening for me. So coming into this wood, I have very, very deliberately had no preconceptions whatsoever. But I've also been paying attention to what's going on all around me. So, as I've already mentioned, today it's quiet, it's still. The air temperature is actually, it's very good, it's very pleasant. Although I've got 4 layers on, I have to admit, even just walking the footpaths and the not particularly steep slopes actually got quite warm quite quickly. So the air temperature around, it's pleasant, it's comfortable. So what I've been trying to look for is a scene that embraces that notion of quiet, but also with just a touch of warmth, which is why this tree over here that you saw me contemplating in the B-roll caught my eye, because it's a little splash of warmth in amongst all of this green. Now it's quite tricky because there's a lot of, I was going to call it distractions. There's a lot of stuff getting in the way, and I don't want to get too close to the tree because I don't want the tree to dominate. I want the tree to be part of the scene, but not create an image that's just blasting with autumn colour. So it's going to take a little bit of finding to put that tree in a composition that adds a touch of warmth to an otherwise quiet scene. So I'm going to get my viewfinder out and I'm going to have a little look and see what I can find. So I'm going to put you over there and then actually have the viewfinder out and just have a chat about what elements in the scene are working for me and contributing to the experience that I've had today. So let me put you over there and we'll do that. So regular viewers to my channel, you'll be familiar with this. This is my view catcher, a little piece of plastic with a door on it that allows me to look at a scene and just put a frame around it and objectively work out whether there is a decent combination of elements in the composition before I get the camera out. Now, I've received a lot of criticism for using this. Lots of people have said to me, oh, just use your phone. Others have said, well, why don't you just stick your camera on a tripod and move it around? The problem with both of those things is A, using the phone, I think it's too easy to just take a picture on the phone and walk away. That's in my experience anyway. Also, putting the camera on a tripod and moving the camera around, it's a faff. It's unwieldy. I prefer the freedom of just being able to move about and have a little internal conversation with myself. Now, obviously I'm not going to have an internal conversation today. I'm going to have an external conversation and hope to God that nobody shows up whilst I'm sat here talking to myself. So the biggest distraction for me is this big tree here, which there is a danger it cuts right through the middle of a potential composition. So I'm going to have to be careful with that big tree. The other element to be careful with is I've got an area of dark green over here, very, very dark green, but I don't have a complementary dark green area over here. Now I could probably fake it in post, probably, but I don't like doing that. I like to try and keep things as natural as possible. However, here I might have to resort to that. Because of the bright sky up above, I'm probably going to cut the sky out completely. Why? Because it's jarring and it's distracting. That's not what I'm experiencing today. I'm not distracted at all. I'm really relaxed. So I don't want to introduce a jarring element into the image that I'm creating. I'm also slightly on a slope. And I quite like that aspect. I certainly like that in woodland because I think it does emphasize the tall, straight tree trunks more so than if you were on a normal flat woodland floor. I don't know. But there is actually a window in between this tree and the others around it that actually helps to frame my main tree, my main subject. So in my head, I'm thinking about a 16 by 9. Oh, my knees. Getting down relatively low so I can incorporate the base of this tree. I'm hoping you can still see me. And what I'm looking for is my bookends, because there's a lot of trees all around me. But I think I can use as a little sapling here. I can use that as one bookend. And there's a number of saplings over here for me to use as another bookend, but I might have to pump up the shadows. There we go, there's a good name for a song, Pump Up the Shadows, over here, just to balance what's going on over there. But there's a lot of green all around, and green is quite a restful colour. So the green is helping to promote that feeling of peace and calm and quiet. Yeah. Okay, I think it's time to get the big camera out and we'll have a play with that, and I'll move you to look at the back of the camera whilst I do it. Yeah, I'm getting quite excited about this now. Right, big camera out. Okay, so there you can see the back of my Sigma fpL. I wouldn't say the composition is spot on, but it's pretty close. The thing I am going to do actually is I'm going to focus on that tree there, And yeah, depth of field preview, that's pretty good. Right, okay, so let me just take you back to where we started, which was including that big tree. So I'm going to take you for a little walk, and I'm going to come back quite a bit. Oh, so if you remember, when I first looked at this tree, I thought that I'd have a window, if you like, between this larger tree and everything that was going on around it. With the benefit of hindsight, I think this big tree is a bit too dominant. It's too large. I think the eye just jumps straight here. So I've gone a wee bit closer to eliminate this tree because it's too loud. And a bit like the sky, I think too distracting. And hopefully you can see there are elements of the sky up here creeping into the frame, and your eye just jumps straight to them. I don't want that to happen. I want that feeling of peace and quiet and blah, blah, blah to be more prevalent. So I moved closer in order to eliminate that tree, and I nearly slipped on a bit of bark. Right, so let's just recompose. Oops. Right, so we're something like that, won't we? Maybe a tad tighter, just to eliminate the sky. I've got my bookends, I've got lots of green. I am not level. There we go, I am now. There we go, got my bookends back. I have actually got a little bit of sky creeping in at the top. Yeah. What I'm trying to do is, behind the number 8 here, there's a little patch of sky. I know I could probably clone it, but I'm being really fussy. I also want to keep my bookends, this tree here and this tree here. Right, okay, so the decision I'm going to make is this isn't going to be a pure 16 by 9. I'm actually going to crop it slightly in post. Let's position that so it's a bit more central. So there's a piece of sky here. I'll either clone it or I'll crop the image. I haven't really decided which yet. I'll decide that when I get home. So yeah, okay, 2 bookends. Yes, I've got a central tree running up through the middle of the frame, but I've deliberately selected f16, and if I do the depth of field preview, everything is sharp. There's plenty of green going on down here, promoting that feeling of peace and quiet and calm. And then you've got this splash of colour sort of radiating out in the background. Radiating, that's a great word to use. Right, I'm just going to check point of focus. I'm focusing on that tree, like so. I know I'm level, at least I was. Yep. Take the image. Boom. And then what we'll do is we'll just replay it and make sure we look good. Yeah, there are some patches of sky still up here, but I think I'm going to have to learn to live with those or clone them, one or the other. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that image, that scene right there, encompasses my whole day and the character of this wood. There's a lot of clutter in this wood, which is why I've included and kept that tree. But that tree doesn't dominate me, especially when I've got the full depth of field and everything is sharp and all that good stuff. I paid very, very careful attention to this little sapling leaning out, and that's why including this tree here on the edge is so key. It's to stop the eye. there's a danger that that tree will actually lead the eye out the edge of the frame. Hopefully including that tree will mean that that doesn't happen. Yeah, I'm very pleased with that image. Very pleased indeed. Definitely sums up my morning. So I've changed my position because I've found another tree that exhibits similar colour. It's a bit more dramatic actually than our previous one, but still found a reasonable composition, and if it comes out okay and processes okay, I'll post it at the end of the video. I've had to use a polarizer in this instance because I've got a lake beyond me in the distance, and there's quite a lot of glare coming off the lake, and the polarizer has actually been able to cut through some of the glare. A bit like the sky, it was very distracting, too loud, not too vibrant, too interrupting, and that doesn't connect with the feeling and the atmosphere that's in my head. So the polarizers helped me out there. But I hope that rambled explanation of the composition and the whys and the wherefores made sense. I mean, clearly it's a very personal taste kind of thing, driven very much by how I feel as an individual, and how we all feel as an individual even in the same space will be different, and therefore the combinations of elements that we'd have in a picture to encapsulate that reaction will be slightly different. So I accept that, it's very, very personal, but I hope it made a little bit of sense. And if there's one thing that I would encourage you all to do, it would be in the landscape to just pause and think about where you are, and think about how you are, and then try and create an image that encapsulates all of that. Hopefully that's an image that you will look back on in the weeks, months, years into the future, and you will remember that moment because of the fact that it's personal to you, and those elements sort of recreate that memory and puts you back in that place. And that's very much what I try to do with my photography, try and remind myself of these wonderful moments out in the landscape. So I'm rambling again, so I'm going to leave this one here. If you like landscape photography, then please do consider becoming a subscriber. Hit the subscribe button, and also if you hit the bell icon alongside, then you'll get notified as to when I upload new content. If you've liked this video, please do give it a thumbs up, give it a like in YouTube. Helps the channel, helps the content, and yeah, it's a nice thing to do. Nice to see the appreciation for what it is that I'm creating. So until we're out in the landscape again, everybody take care, stay safe and stay well, and do look after each other. See you again soon. Take care for now.